Hey up photo pips, and welcome back to the channel. I just want to talk to you about panning fast moving objects. Last Sunday went to Bruntingthorpe testing ground, where twice a year, bank holidays, they throw together a selection of Cold War aircraft and they taxi them down the runway, giving like-minded people like me the opportunity to photograph them flying down. So I just want to go over one or two things about panning and the technique of panning, and how it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're using big wide lenses like these ones here. Wow, just what I needed. Oh, can't beat a brew. So you've got your Canon or your big Nikon and your big chunky lenses, and the idea is to get the shot of whatever it be, runner, bike, car, and in this case aircraft, zooming down the runway. But you want it to see some movement in the image. You don't want it to look like it's sitting still on the runway. Take a look at some examples of some great shots and some shots taken when photographer starts to get very tired lumping these great big lenses around and camera combinations. It's never easy. Oh my god, look at this guy. He just looks like he's plonked in the middle of the racetrack, holding up all the traffic. What we should have done was drop the shutter speed down. This was taken at 250 per second, way too fast for this rider. He probably wasn't going that fast anyway, but we need blurred wheels and a blurred background. Something to consider motion. So in this shot we got spot on. It's 160th of a second and it's absolutely brilliant. I love the way the wheels are nice and blurred and there's some motion in the background. But look at the number, look at the writing, the rider himself, pin sharp. Now that is how you take a motion photograph. Brilliant, love it. So in these next two photographs, this one taken at 50th of a second, again it's another fail. There is no sharpness in the photograph. Same with this one, exactly the same. This one was taken at 60th of a second. As you can see, you can obviously tell where I've been bouncing the camera, because if you look at the number plate, the blurriness of the photo is up and down rather than left and right. So I was obviously bouncing up and down as I was panning. Again, if I'd have just upped the shutter speed a little bit, it would have fixed the problem. Shot at 250th of a second. In the video you can see where I start roughly 180 degrees from the left hand side, then follow through to fire off a combination of images, but capturing this one 2/3 of the way in to the pan. And you know what? It works a treat. It works a treat. So keep that shutter speed down and get that prop blur. Look at it. I love it. So this photograph was taken at a completely different air show altogether, and I remember it so well. I'd got some fantastic shots, but I started to feel tired. The weight of the camera and lens combination was starting to get a little bit too much for me. So I didn't want to lose the shot. So what I did was I upped the shutter speed to 800 and come away with a brilliant image. So is it a fail? Not really. Maybe to some, but not to me.
Circumstances. Amazing fighter, very noisy, very spectacular.
is about getting the shot. There's nothing worse than coming away with I don't know, 500 to 1,000 blurry shots, or shots that feel like you're unusable because they're just too wobbly. So it's about getting the shot. And most of the aeroplane shots that I take are, I'd say the shutter speed's around 180th of a second to 250th of a second. If you're shooting fast jets with no moving parts, not a problem. 1,000th of a second, 2,000, whatever you need for that exposure triangle. But anything that's got a prop, propeller, moving parts, wheels, whatever, you know, if it's a bike or car, you need to consider that slower shutter speed, and then maybe use a monopod. All the bike stuff, I use the monopod. It's so much easier. It just takes that added weight off the lens and camera combination, but it allows you to sweep nicely across. If you use this panning technique, what you also need to do is focus on one thing on the plane. So I think what I was focusing on was maybe just the undercarriage. Just looking at the picture now, just around here. I'd say I was probably focusing on this section just here. Kept that well in control, and as you've seen on the video, started my pan and just continued to crack off the shots in that high mode, in that high speed shutter continuous mode, and it worked a treat. Pulled away some great shots. Same with the ground stuff. You know, it is a heavy combination. It does get wobbly, but at the end of the day, we got to crack these shots off. There's nothing worse than seeing a fast moving vehicle and it just looks like it's sitting still, like this Ferrari. Breaks my heart. I mean, the guy in the cockpit, look, he's just like looking out the window. He could be just sitting there, but I know he wasn't. 1,000th of a second, way too quick. Just practice, and the more you practice, the more you'll get it. Same with wildlife, swans and ducks that skim in the water. That is so hard, that shot. How much I appreciate a photographer that takes a brilliant shot like that. It is very difficult. It's such a small subject to pan and get it right. But guys, give it a go and see what you think, because you know, when you crack it and you master it, it's fantastic. So enjoy, have fun with your photographer, and don't forget, get out and shoot. Okay, take care, see you soon.